Hello, friends. Welcome to the Coach Training Partners Podcast. My name is Gordon Duncan. I'm the owner of Capitalize Marketing and Consulting. And this show is part of the larger Capitalize Your Best podcast network of shows. On Mondays, we have This Is Gonna Hurt, which is a personal growth podcast helping you make a better you. Today is Tuesday. This is the Coach Training Partners Podcast. We help coaches create programs and increase their revenue. On Wednesday, we have the Capitalize Your Best podcast. That's our business and marketing growth podcast. Now, on Thursdays, we don't have a formal podcast, but we do have the Capitalize Coaching Call, which is a live call at 11 a.m. Eastern every Thursday. And that's part of the Capitalize Your Best online community. I'll tell you all about that in a minute. And then on Fridays, we have the You're Entitled to Your Opinion podcast, which is a pop culture podcast with reviews and interviews. But friends, first of all, I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate greatly your likes, your reviews, your shares, and everything across the whole podcast network. And I'm very excited about what we have to talk about today. The question that I think we need to consider is this: is marketing just gaslighting? Is marketing the same as gaslighting? Now, gaslighting is a term that gets used a lot, and it's become more popular in use in the last 3 or 4 years. So I think it's important for us to define gaslighting and define where it comes from before we can answer the question of whether marketing is gaslighting. Now, the term comes from, in its popularity, a 1944 movie called Gaslight. And in that movie, a husband tries to make his wife feel like she's going crazy. And so he begins manipulating things around the house, and they're gaslights, and they begin dimming, and he's saying they're not dimming. And he convinces her that she's a kleptomaniac, and he removes things, and he controls her reality in a sense that she begins to think that she is losing her mind. And that's where the term comes from. So, by technical definition, to gaslight someone means to make them question their reality. You're making them question their reality. That's the truest sense of gaslighting. Now, in its popular usage, gaslighting has gone on to mean, oh, you're making me feel like it's my fault, or you're telling me I'm wrong. Like when you see people debating and someone goes, "That's not what happened." They go, "Why are you gaslighting me?" And so that's close to the proper usage of the original term. But again, if you're telling someone they're wrong or they're telling someone it didn't happen that way, they're saying you're gaslighting me. So it's becoming much more of a just throw out term, like, "Oh, I'm being gaslighted." Now, it's a real psychological concern when it's used in its truest sense, when you're making people question their reality. But sometimes it just gets thrown out for someone disagrees with you, or someone says that's not the way it happened. Why are you gaslighting me? So that term gets thrown out a lot. Having said that, that's what gaslighting means in its truest sense, in that you're making someone question their reality. So is marketing gaslighting? Well, if you're having someone question their reality, the answer is yes. In marketing, what you're doing is you're saying, hey, this is the situation, but it can be like this. And people are going, oh, wait a minute, reality can be different. So it's not in the truest sense. You're not telling people, hey, that thing you think happened didn't happen. No, but what you're saying is you are getting people to consider a different reality. If you watch a commercial for medicine, it's the most popular commercial on television right now. And in it, the picture is you're going to go from you can't play with the kids to now you can play with your kids. There is a question of reality there. You're like, oh, wait a minute. Reality can be different. You're not saying your past is not your past. You might be making people feel like your past is worse than it really is, or the present is worse than it really is. There is that. There is an exaggerated sense of marketing and gaslighting in that. But the truest sense of question reality is it can be different. And so maybe you can't play with your kids, but you take the medicine and now you can. Or you're in terrible pain and it keeps you from doing something. You take this medicine and you can. In politics, there's tons of gaslighting, because then they go back and they go, that person did this thing, that horrible politician did this thing, and this is the result. And sometimes that's not true at all. or it's a new interpretation of what someone did. So gaslighting in marketing in that sense, yes, there's tons of that. Doesn't mean it's good, but that's a lot of what gaslighting is in marketing. Now, is gaslighting marketing in the sense that we're telling people it's their fault? Rarely does marketing work that way. Like in the popular usage of gaslighting today, it's, oh, this thing is your fault, or that's not the way it happened. There's less of that because in marketing, it's rarely effective to say you're at fault. Ownership is amazing, but in broad marketing, that rarely is the way it goes. Usually it is, hey, this has happened. Has this accident happened to you and by no fault of your own? Then that. So in that sense, marketing is not gaslighting. But in its proper usage, most of the time, in the truest definition of gaslighting, question reality, when it comes to politics, 100% marketing is gaslighting. When it comes to future promises, it is gaslighting because you're saying, hey, reality can be different. But rarely does marketing just go, hey, this thing is your fault, because that's rarely effective in convincing the masses. So the question is, should we be using gaslighting in our marketing? Should we be using gaslighting in our marketing? I will say yes with this caution. I don't want anyone, nor would I recommend marketing that causes someone to question the reality of the past. I will, however, encourage your marketing, especially if you're a coach or if you own a business of any sense where you have a service. The question of reality is the future. Hey, working with us brings about this future. For example, if you work with us in the Capitalize Your Best program over on the marketing side, we're going to help you grow your revenue. I want you to question the future of your reality. Hey, if I work with Gordon, I might be able to grow my revenue. Or over in the Capitalize Your Best Life program, we're going to help you achieve your personal goals. In that, the good sense of the way gaslighting can be used, that is 100% what you should be doing. You should help people question their future reality. Hey, it could be different. But in a negative sense, we don't want to, in our broad marketing, to go, all of this is your fault. It might be, but that will not work effectively in marketing. Now, if you're a one-on-one coach, you want people to have ownership of their responsibility so they can get better 100%. But that's in coaching, not in marketing. So in a picture, here's what I expect you, I encourage you to do. This is the best approach. Help people have an understanding of their present reality. Have them have a hope for future reality because they interact with you, your product, and your service. That, in a sense, is gaslighting, though I'd never use it in that way. The bigger thing I would encourage all of us to, as that word becomes more of a pop culture word, is to use it only in its truest definition psychologically. If someone is trying to manipulate the interpretation of the past and question their reality, that is gaslighting. But just telling someone, hey, that's not the way that happened. I was there. That's not. But that's just in a practical sense. When it comes down to your marketing, give people a hope for a different future by interacting with you, but don't run around in your marketing just going, hey, it's your fault. There are platforms that work that way. There are influencers that work that way. There are products and services, but rarely do they have mass appeal. So my encouragement, give people a hope of a different future reality in your marketing, but let's not be those that reinterpret the past in an incorrect way, like you see with a lot of political marketing. Let's not be those people, because then all it does is divides and it causes more division. So, friends, I hope this helps. I'm going to have more to say about it soon. And I encourage you to check out Monday's Capitalize Your Best podcast. That's our business and growth podcast. I look forward to seeing you then. And if you would like to be a part of Thursdays, 11 a.m. Capitalized coaching call, reach out to me. I'll give you a free 7-day pass so you can check it out. So friends, thanks so much for tuning in. And we're going to take up more topics like this as we go forward. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.